Gather around, Skull Brothers and Sisters. This is Skull World, brought to you by Minnesota Sports Talk. I'm your host, Dave. You can follow me on Twitter, TikTok, and Facebook at Skull World. Make sure you hit subscribe, like, and leave a comment. Make sure you hit like below this video when you join, and that way it'll get pushed out to the masses. Beat that YouTube algorithm. Let's go. Minnesota Vikings playing the Detroit Lions. Underdogs. That's my thumbnail for this show. I appreciate each and every one of you for coming on and listening. We're going to talk about the keys to victory, some interesting things that came out day of the game. I'll answer your questions. You tell me what you want to listen to. Make sure you tap in if you're following the show. Join the show. I appreciate it. I'm going to see if I can push this out to a few more people while I'm on with you. Now, a little history. Last year, Detroit Lions, we kicked a field goal to win it. No time remaining, I think. Or I don't know if there was very little time remaining. I think a few seconds maybe. And we saw Kirk Cousins shaking Mike Zimmer late in the game. See what we can do kind of thing. That brought national news. My second biggest TikTok ever. And I did that. I didn't even do that the week of the game. I did that later. But, and then, of course, to end the season, probably in Mike Zimmer's career, we lose the Detroit Lions on a 96-yard drive. Armand, I forget how to say his name. Armand St. Brown got that 10-yard catch in the end zone with no time remaining. Walk-off win by the Lions, winning their first game of the season against us. So make sure if you're on, make sure you check in, tap in, tell me who you are, where you're from, score predictions. I don't care. Just tap in. Let me know you're there. So we have a little bit of a revenge game of that game last year knocking us out of the playoffs. We have and we had TJ Hawkinson getting traded. So there's a little bit of revenge factor. They're giving us a lot of bulletin board material, having us underdogs against these guys. I love it. Give us more of that underdog mentality. These Vikings are coming together. I think they feel disrespected. They want a statement win as good as any other statement win out there. They want to get this going, man. They want respect, and if they can put something like that on their bulletin board, they're gonna do it. The other factors in this, Lions are on the rise. We want to show we're still the big brother out there. I want the Minnesota Vikings to come away with a 2-score victory at least. We need it. We need to feel good about a win. I thought it was going to be against the Jets when we went up 20-3. I thought, hey, here's when it's going to happen. This is when it's going to happen, and it didn't happen. And it kind of, oh man, you felt it like I did the second half. The Jets coming back as they did. Let's see if we can get some more people on here. I'm going to send this to a lot of people here, see if we can get some people to jump on. Now, I want to know how you feel about this game. Tell me what you think the Vikings are going to do. Tell me if you think they can pull out a statement win today. I feel it. I feel like we can. I think we played some really tough defenses. We played some real tough defenses, and they didn't play very good teams, and except for Buffalo, and they lost that one. Although it was a really good game. Now, I got Justin Day. He's gonna join. Hey, Justin, give me a thumbs up if you're ready. What's up, Justin? Purple and Gold for Days here. There's the microphone.
Good morning, everybody. How we doing?
Doing good, man. I was just talking about, a little bit of revenge factor of them ultimately knocking us out of the playoffs last year with that must-win game, giving up a 96-yard touchdown. The earlier game in the year where we won on a field goal. It wasn't a walk-off win, right? There were still a couple seconds left on the clock when we kicked that field goal.
No, it was with zeros. It was with zeros. It was with
Then
zeros.
then that was the game where Cousins gave Zimmer a good shaking on the sidelines, and then of course we end up losing the later game that season. And I kind of the revenge factor of the game and T.J. Hawkinson trade, um, is a little bit of revenge factor for him playing so many years on losing teams and then
Right.
getting traded to the Vikings midseason. Although he's happy about it, but there's still that you want to show up against the other team, especially after they trade you. They go win 4 out of the last 5. You still there?
You're fading. Is that
You're,
me or is that you? Is that me or is that you?
I don't know. Could be one of the both of us. I don't know. You were frozen there for
All
a
right, I think
second. I
we
mean,
got
I
her
can
back here
see
now.
me just fine. Yeah, it was you. I'm looking
I can
over on
see you.
our.
All right, might be me. Hold on, let me check mine. Anyway, no, I agree. Here's the thing: you got everybody want to talk about the T.J. Hawkinson angle, and that's all well and good. But I think Cam Dantzler is going to want to show the world that last year was just kind of a fluke mess up, and that he's going to have every bit as much. Rap said it. Everybody needs to play like Patrick Peterson played against the Arizona Cardinals. I think Cam Dantzler, assuming he's good to go and is able to play the full game, he's going to want to go out there and show that his mess up last year was maybe just a little bit of the old regime, a little this, that, and whatever else there. But having said that, I think this team is ready to go. But that's a little bit of the stuff that we'll get into, because to me, it's put this division away today. Let's not goof around with it anymore. Let's just get these Lions back in their cage, so to speak. Let everybody else know that we're the first team to clinch. I believe Philly can clinch today too, but I think they play later. So technically, by the clock, we have the ability to be the first team to clinch here. So
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the bullet, and I also talked about bulletin board material of us being not favored going into this game. The disrespect some of the veterans will probably feel about, hey, we're finally 10-2 and we're not getting respect. I think that'll have a lot to do with how well we play today. Just feeding off of that, we're finally 10-2. We're getting finally respect. These guys haven't seen it in a while, right? And then then we're not favored against a 5-7 team. It's almost a blessing to us that they gave us this. It's like a gift wrapped, and it does matter to players. It totally matters to players that you're going in as underdog. You're just going to give it your all. Not to mention that you're a good team, so you can give it your all. And if you give it your all,
yeah,
you're going to win.
I totally agree. I'll say it like this. I've said it, and anybody who's been a Vikings fan for more than 5 minutes knows this team is better when they are underdogs. This team is better when they are disrespected. This team is better when they don't have expectations. Because the second they start getting expectations is when bad things happen to them. I am more than content being the underdog in Detroit. I am more than content with people still doubting us. Let them keep doubting us. Let them keep. It shouldn't be one of those, well, we need this motivation. I'm not saying they need the motivation, but to your point, it's a little extra fuel to the fire, and I'm here for it. I'm all about. You're going to tell me that because the Lions have won 4 out of 5 games against some okay teams at best and had a close loss against Buffalo, that they should be favored at home against the 10-2 team that have played by and large those same teams and who had the close win in Buffalo? Sorry, I'm not listening to it. But hey, it's all good. It's all gravy at this point. We're just going to roll into there, and we'll show people what we got. It's really that simple to me. It doesn't need to be any more complicated than that. What do you say?
Yeah, I mean, you just got to play your game. Where I've seen us difficulty is that we've came into some games and didn't make the adjustments. Let's say on defense until it was almost too late, and then on offense, we had a bad scheme against the Cowboys. where we just thought, hey, let's just block these guys mano a mano, and they had their way with us. We recovered from that. I think we learned our lesson from that. I don't think it's going to happen again. In fact, it's happened to us twice, right? So the Redskins and the Cowboys both had their way with us. In each game, we did recover the next week. Buffalo, our offensive line played much better, and
Mm-hmm.
then after the Cowboys game, our offensive line has played much better. So yeah, I think we've learned our lesson. We've grown as a team. KOC's grown as a coach. I think you can go into a Lions team that we've already faced once, have a lot of tape on, and they're riding a little high right now, and maybe unsuspectingly we can throw a wrench into their playoff run here in this game, and not give them too much hope for the rest of the season. I do have some keys to victory here, and let's see what you think about it. Pass
Sure.
protection. Obviously, this is going to be a key to victory. I think we can run on this team. These guys are terrible against the run. I early in the year going into that Lions game, I saw the Eagles just have their way with the Lions defensive line, and I think we did too for the most part, and I think we can do it again. So not too worried about the run game, but pass protection. Let's hope we keep up that with the help on the outside, being able to, so that way we can double team defensive tackles. The chip blocking, that means that we can give help with the running back or the tight end when we need it. Who knows? Maybe we can handle these guys straight up front. But what do you think about this being a key to victory?
Oh, I think it's absolutely the biggest key to victory, and I think it's the biggest key to victory pretty much against any team that we play. Simply put, the Dallas Cowboys came in, beat the snot out of our offensive line. We lose Garrisaw, but most importantly, we did not know how to adjust at all. We couldn't figure that out until the game was over and we went back and looked at the tape. So, what I said in my preview show is do the Herb Brooks thing and just play your game. And what their game has been since that Cowboys game is, yes, we're
For
still
the
going to
for
be
the
aggressive.
listeners out there, could you explain who Herb Brooks is?
Okay, so Herb Brooks was this this
It's been a
well-known
while.
hockey coach from the University of Minnesota and a couple other stints as well. But he led the 1980 Olympic team to the gold medal over the heavily favored Big Red Machine that was Russia. Now, technically, that wasn't the gold medal game, but pretty much Russia
Yeah, it
had
was
dominated hockey for the last 2 decades, and he put this team together that wasn't necessarily the most talented, but it played the best together. And at the end of it, he discovered that trying to defense Russia wasn't a winning strategy. You had to attack them and let the chips fall. And once that team got its lead with 10 minutes left in the third period, he said, just play your game. Don't sit back and then just go into a defensive mode sitting on a 1-goal lead. Continue to play your game.
And
And
they
so
ended
where
up
I
they ended up pulling their the best goalie in the world in that
Yes,
game
after
too,
the
which
first
was
period when the
crazy.
score was tight as 2, they took the best goalie in the world out and put in their backup. But the point I'm making is that what the Vikings have done offensively from a pass protection standpoint since that Dallas Cowboys game is to take back a little bit of always leaving their offensive linemen on islands. They've done more chipping. They've run a couple more 2 tight end sets, and they've mixed up the balance between not running 3 wide receivers as much, not keeping CJ Ham on the bench, except for goal line situations or that sort of thing. So where I'm going with the pass protection and play your game, play the game with the offensive line that you've been playing since that Dallas Cowboys game, which is to not leave the offensive line as a unit of 5, but occasionally helping them out with some extra tight end chipping, running back chipping, those sorts of things.
If you joined us, make sure you hit like, help push this video out to others, and tap in, tell us where you're from, who you are, and I think this is a good a time as any to share who our sponsors are. We are in partnership with ChuckForeman44.com. Make sure you go to, when you go to checkout, type in Skull 15 and you will get 15% off. We're also giving away a Chuck Foreman autographed jersey. And next week, and I'm thinking I'm going to do it on my Wednesday show instead of the Tuesday show with you, Justin, because I won't be there, is I'm going to give
Yeah.
away a Spin Doctor bobblehead. And every time if you're subscribed and you like and comment, every time you'll be entered to win as many times as you want. And I do not throw any entries away. And next is we are partnered with Fanatics. I do have links in the description below. Copy and paste those into a new YouTube browser, and you'll be helping out the channel if you buy anything from Fanatics. This is an awesome piece, autograph photo of the catch by Justin Jefferson. One of the nicest pictures I've seen of his catch. Pretty nice. So that's everything. Let's talk about another key to victory here. Establish the run, and that's what I was talking about. We could be so dominant in the run game against these guys that I think if we hit 150 yards, I think we win no problem. Even if we do more than 100, I think it'll help out a bit. But this is a area where we could actually dominate against these guys. What say you, man?
No, I think that, and I said this last week as well, this needs to be, you want to get Justin Jefferson his touches early to keep him involved and to get the Lions to show their hand as to how they're going to defend him. But Dalvin Cook is, and the running game in general, is the key to establishing that balance. So, yes, everybody want to talk about, we'll get to the defense later here, I'm assuming, but everybody want to talk about how bad the Vikings defense is and all the yards they give up and this, that, and whatever. The Lions defense is every bit as bad, particularly against the run. Dalvin Cook has feasted against the Detroit Lions throughout his career. So, yes, establishing the run early. It doesn't, again, I've used this line a few times, it doesn't need to be the Kubiak Zimmer run, pass, punt, but get Dalvin Cook his touches early and often. And it doesn't have to just be I formation straight up the gut. Get him some toss sweeps, get him on some misdirections. But, yes, get Dalvin Cook in that running game established because, again, the Detroit Lions are extremely defensively susceptible, particularly to the run. So, yes, again, that opens up pretty much everything else. You establish that run. Maybe the Lions have to take one of their secondary safeties to drop down in the box, open things up for the tight end as well as, the wide receivers in the passing game. But, yes, this needs to once again be an opportunity for Dalvin Cook to say, hey, everybody want to talk about how I'm old and how I've fallen off the cliff. He's had some tough games this year, ultimately sometimes on the stat line because he'd get like, for example, he was bottled up quite a bit in that Miami game until he had that big long, the Buffalo game, that really started the comeback when they were down 17, one play, bam, 80-some yard touchdown from Dalvin Cook. But, yes, obviously Justin Jefferson is always going to be the focal point, but I think the key point besides the pass protection and the offensive line is to make sure that we get Dalvin Cook his touches early and often and mix in a little bit of Alexander Madison as well. Last weekend we got 3 carries. He had that big 14-yard touchdown run, but he was effective. Absolutely. That's the word I would use to describe it as well.
Hey, thanks for joining Toy Box. Appreciate you jumping on, man. Yeah, we love to entertain. We love to talk about the Vikings, so it's easy. So then the next key to victory for me is play through the physicality, and I hope I spelled physicality right. And these teams, their game plan is to come on and lay hands on Justin Jefferson, and these guys have been kind of known. In talking to Micro Mike yesterday, is that they do have a physical defense, and I believe other people have mentioned, Vikings creators have mentioned the physicality of their defense, and we Aiden Hutchinson didn't have that great a game against us last time, but he's a few games more under his belt. They get a couple, I think Micro Mike talked about they have another rookie in this that they got in the 6th round that's got 3.5 sacks. So the physicality and the defensive backs tried to lay hands on us every week, no matter what defense we're playing. But I think the Lions were especially effective in that. However, we did come back. We did play through that. Can we do that again if they start doing this? Is the question. And what do you think? Think the Vikings can play a complete game? Like some games we didn't. Because they did lay hands on us. Philly and. There was even the Saints, we got through them. Thank God. That was a tough one. Even the Lions was a tough game. The physicality is when we played defenses that laid hands on us. That's where we were a little bit shaky, including Miami.
Well, to that, the Lions did see. You look at this. This is where the box score doesn't tell the whole story. Oh, the Lions held Justin Jefferson to 3 catches for 14 yards. Yeah, and how many penalties, defensive holding, pass interference penalties did they take? Now,
they're playing the odds. They're playing the odds.
Right. They're playing the odds that the officials aren't going to call everything. But when it gets down to crunch time, when it's the 2-minute drill and you're down 3-4, you can't be that much that being grabby all the time, which is part of why the Vikings only were able to have that comeback. But they were able to rather easily go right down the field on those, culminating with that touchdown to KJ Osborne. So you can play that kind of defense, outside of 2 minutes. But once you get inside 2 minutes, you actually have to man up and play defense. The key is that, sometimes when you have that kind of defensive scheme, we're going to play these to see how many times this team can execute. And sometimes you take penalties just to say, well, I'm not just going to give up a 50-yard touchdown bomb here and we'll get back on the field. So the Vikings did play well enough in that first game. Now, mind you, it was at home. We had the crowd behind us and all those sorts of things that home field advantage brings to you. But to your point about what we have to do today, they are going to have to understand that things are not going to come easy, that they are going to clutch and grab. And you know what? There's going to be a couple times where they clutch and grab and they get away with it. So you can't let that frustration mount and build over time. You've just got to play through that. You've got to know that sometimes the officials are going to give you the calls that you deserve and sometimes they're not. And ultimately, hey, run with it. But I think that defensive strategy only gets you so far. Yes, they can hang their hats on the fact that the Vikings Jefferson only had 3 catches, 13 yards. Well, you lost the game. So, yes, I do believe that most importantly, the Vikings are going to have to make sure that they understand that that's the kind of game that they're going to have to play against this team. Because, again, their defense isn't any better than ours. And that's kind of their strategy is we're going to clutch and grab. We're going to make you execute 8, 10, 15 plays, those sorts of things. So, you're going to have to bring all the equipment and you're going to have to make sure that you don't lose the mental game. Sometimes, as an opponent, your opponent tries to psych you out and just tries to frustrate you and get you outside of your own game, which gets back to what I was saying earlier. Just play your game, play through it. Don't play the officials. We've had games where we had to play against the officials and we've come out on top on it. So I know that this team is completely capable of overcoming that sort of thing. Listen, it's the Lions. Their defense is just as bad. They're a cute little club, but yes, just play your game. I think that's the easiest way to say it. What's up, Rap? How you doing?
Hey, Rap, what's going on? He was on this morning with the next Colin Cowherd, I think. He was an all sports guy, and he brought Rap on. And nice. Rap, good take that our quarterback has to play good to win the game. We'll go with that one as a key to victory. But we got, sorry guys, joined late. We already covered this. I'm worried if we let the Lions get up early, could be in trouble. That had been our MO all year, right?
Right.
And then what did we do against the Jets? We went up, and then we almost let that happen. And so, yeah, hopefully we're past that. And this might be the thing that just drives me nuts, and I think it drives Justin here nuts too, is that we do give up. We don't play well early in the game defensively, and that we have saved it for the late in the game or the second half to make stops. And that has been, probably a key to victory in its own, the only key to victory this entire year, every game. We could just drone on it time and time again. But I've been on the side of, dude, dominate the first quarter, first half, and then try to hold on, and with your defense, pull out all the stops, make them make the adjustments. Right. That's the way I feel about playing defense. You're not you make them figure you out. And what do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, it's a tale of the first drive or two and then to the mid to the third quarter and on. They offensively, usually within the first 2 drives, have a scoring drive, particularly a touchdown. Usually it's the first drive, second drive. Defensively, they usually get possibly 3 and out. And then everything changes. It's like the first 15 scripted plays on offense against the first 15 scripted plays against the other team's offense. They do very, very well. It's when the adjustments gets made that they start to flunder a little bit. And then it becomes, well, I guess we got to do our halftime adjustments and mid-third quarter adjustments here. But I totally agree. How we do what we did against Chicago, which is we score touchdowns on our first 3 drives. We look unstoppable, and then we give the defense cushion. But to the point that you were making a moment ago about bringing some pressure, one of the things that I had said in the interim over the Thanksgiving quick back and forth games that we had there is Maybe Donatel is saving some of his bullets because of the personnel that he's had. Now, at the time, we only had Patrick Peterson. We didn't have Dantzler. We didn't have Evans at the time. Well, last week, they brought some pressures early. Maybe because with Evans back, he felt he had enough in the battle enough. And yeah, some of those pressures kind of disappeared later on after Evans went out. Whether that's a coincidence or not, I don't know. But I am at the point where this is your time to finally say, okay, let's bring the house, not necessarily every play, but it's about time we start playing how we're going to need to play in the playoffs. We can get away with this through the course of a 17-game regular season, but it's time to be bringing pressures early and often. Jared Goff is...
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, okay. And that's my key to victory here. Jared Goff make quick decisions because he is a good decision maker. He has been good this year, and he's one of the reasons why they're winning so many times. And you just brought up the fact that you don't have to bring the house. I felt like you just got to disguise the pressures and keep them guessing on who's coming. And you got Darius Smith, decide they got to figure out where he's going to be coming from. They're going to bring a fifth guy on this, or are they going to drop everybody and go with four? There's so many things you can do by disguising pressures, and it just doesn't seem like he does it until the fourth quarter. So my key to victory is exactly what you're saying is, I feel like it's disguise of pressure and occasionally bring somebody. And that's where the Jets, I think, were, is they like to come with four, and we handled it. We handled it. Now they needed to do more against us, so I think we only got sacked twice. We only sacked them once. Now we're going to the Lions, and I feel like with a Jared Goff, who is not mobile, probably less mobile than Kirk Cousins is. Apparently, it seems to be the case, that we can get after this guy, and that will give the defensive backs, a little bit of a respite, is that they don't have to cover for 7 seconds. That's my hope in the game.
What's up, McAndrews? Thanks for joining us. Look who else is in the house here. Joe Day. That's my father. Thanks, Pops, for tuning in. I'm very much appreciative of that.
Find Joe. There's all day Joe right there. All day Joe.
There you go. To your point about Jared Goff, what's funny is that Jared Goff is doing this year what Kirk Cousins did last year, which was he's got a lot of stats, but the team is still around 500. And so it's rather ironic that both sides of the house have got to be, the Kirk Cousins side of the house. Well, last year he was putting up stats, but not victories. This year he's not. And again, Jared Goff is doing exactly that. To me, again, as I've said a million times, I will take this version of Kirk Cousins. Right now, I'm absolutely taking Kirk Cousins over Jared Goff. The only advantage that Jared Goff has is that he's playing at home. That is it. This defensive line, if they are given the opportunity to, they can disrupt him and they can put him off of his game. Jared Goff will throw. He's a quick decision maker, but he's good for one or two, as Rap would say, bleep it balls. And you just have to be able to take advantage of that. But yeah, get to Jared Goff early and often, throw him off of his game. And you can build that lead, assuming that the offense, like we talked about just a moment ago, can actually be consistent beyond the first drive or two. But yeah, Jared Goff is he's a solid player. Okay. He's a solid quarterback. He's nothing spectacular. He's not elite. And he has had this team on his back, and they have played very well over the last 5 games. But at the same time, I don't know that they've really played anybody other than Buffalo at the Vikings caliber. And yes, on Thanksgiving Day, short week, they went toe-to-toe with them. And once again, their coach made a couple of bad decisions, just like they did against us earlier on. That cost them the game. This team is not an elite team, but they're not a garbage team either. Our guy Rap wants to give us all crap when we say, well, the Lions are not the pushover that they once were. Yeah, they're still the Lions. We'll all acknowledge that. But as far as the point on Jared Goff, you just get some pressure on him, take away his ability to make those quick decisions, and he'll throw you up a couple passes that you can definitely take advantage of.
This was my favorite comment right here. Have Kirk Cousins play like Zach Wilson. Because Rap has been wanting us to go trade for Zach Wilson. But that was awesome. And yes, we will have a beer with you. We just saw it to show up at the same place. Toy Box, I would love to have a beer with you, especially after that comment. And apparently Rap thinks the same. Let's see, what do we got? Mick Andrews, thanks for coming in. I know we already shouted you out. Rap is crazily talkative today. This is awesome. Apparently, he wants to have a beer with Kirk Cousins. This is him. He wants to add Kirk Cousins to the group of getting a beer. Uh, talk your ish. I have no idea. He's just rambling now.
Well, you know how rap can be. Rap loves to
He's
stir the pot. Rap
yeah.
loves to get under your skin. You know,
I have
that's kind of who he is. Sometimes
I have no idea what he's talking about on that one. Limit the big plays, and you brought this up earlier in the defense, and I said, we got to stop letting teams get chunk yardage. Like we would have held those guys last week to under 100 yards rushing if it wasn't for one big ass play. There seems like there's all these teams are going to have big ass plays against us and eat up chunk yardage, and then we got to stop on the goal line. Well, that's unsustainable, I think. It's almost they're giving that moniker that we're a lucky team, right? That we luckily kept them to 1-6 and made them kick field goals last week. This is a team that can do the same thing. They got talent, they got speed on the offense that they could get chunk plays. So, limiting the chunk plays, and that's the whole idea behind a 2-deep zone is to eliminate these chunk plays that we've been giving up. So it doesn't make any sense that that we're the exact opposite is happening. What can we do there, Justin, to keep these chunk plays from happening other than go 4 deep? I don't know. What's up? What's the next thing we could do?
Well, the 2-deep shell is an offshoot of the old Tampa 2. And what was the key to the Tampa 2? Getting pressure with 4 so that you can have 7 guys back. The key to that defense is you need to have certain personnel players. Now, the Vikings have some of those pieces. When you have a healthy Zadarius Smith and a healthy Danielle Hunter that are able to be disruptive, now that we have Davin Tomlinson back, that's one of your levels. The other level is having good cornerbacks. Now, Patrick Peterson, he's on the back end of his career. He's got the cunning and guile. He doesn't have everything he had when he was in his prime. And as we talked about earlier, we've had a cavalcade of rotating number 2 cornerbacks. Yes, when all 3 are healthy, you give me Cam Dantzler and Caleb Evans as your 2 and 3, I will go to war with this system. Problem is over recent weeks at the beginning of the season, we were very lucky to not have a whole lot of the injury bug hit us. Has happened in the last 6 or 7 weeks. I think what it would take for this team is to have all of its pieces together. And at that point, getting back to the point I was making earlier about Donatel feeling better about bringing some pressure looks from time to time. But as far as what they can do right now, they're just going to have to accept that they're going to give up yards between the 20s and clamp down in the red zone. Occasionally, they're going to have some opportunities to get some pressure. The one thing you don't want with this defense is, we got a sack on first down, and it's now 2nd and 17. Well, now you're playing the shell where you gave up 11 yards on 2nd down, and now it's back to being 3rd and 6, where that first down sack has almost been rendered moot, as if you had just had 2 running plays for, to get you to that 3rd and 6. So I think ultimately what needs to happen is when you do get this team in a 2nd and 15 or more, as an example, or let's say there's a false start penalty or a holding penalty or something like that, that's the time to adjust slightly to not just play the shell. The shell is designed to, on a drive-by-drive basis, to say we're going to keep everything in front of us and we're going to accept the yardage losses, but we're going to want to have the point victory, so to speak, by keeping you out of the end zone. I think that there's opportunities now, once we get healthy, that if you do have the opportunities to get out of the shell on, 2nd and longs and whatever else, take advantage of that. Don't waste the opportunities that have been given when you have a team in 2nd and long by just playing the shell like you're up by 14 points with 3 minutes left to go. How do they do that? I'm not sure. Again, we're all happy to have Cam Dantzler back, but is he at 100%? Is he at 85%? We don't know. So for right now, I would say just make sure that when you have an opportunity, take advantage of it. Don't feel like you have to stay in this shell up until the last 2 minutes of the game where now you've got to make a play. Pretend that there's only 2 minutes left in the game once in a while where you say, you know what, we're going to take a chance. And if you get beat, you get beat. Nobody's saying blitz on every play. But if you're going to get cut to death by 10,000 paper cuts over and over again, once in a while, it's worth the gamble of bringing the house, and maybe you create a turnover, or maybe you just force a team to punt, as opposed to letting a team pick up a first down and starting the rotation all over again. I think that the one thing that I want to see is I want to see some, strategic opportunities where you take advantage or you bring some extra pressure And if it backfires, well, it backfires. But who cares? You've got Cousins in the offense going up against a defense that is arguably just as bad as you. So if you give up a big play and a touchdown, it doesn't have to be the end of the world.
Purple Code from Canada. I believe this is
What's up,
Mike,
Mike?
right? Yeah,
Yep.
Mike. Yeah, I got us 31-17. I think we handle business today. I do think their defense is that bad. Ours does keep people out of the end zone. I think our pass rush. I think Donatel probably got called into the office the past couple weeks, and he just needs to mix it up a little bit. Hopefully, we play with urgency on defense, not give up any lead, not get behind. I think we take it 31-17. If you guys can go down and put in the comments what you think your score predictions are, we'd appreciate it. I imagine, Justin, you think we're going to win the game just based off of your videos.
Yes, I believe my final score prediction was 38-28. I think that there's going to be some points in this game, and I even said, hey, we're going to give up points in this game. So as a fan, don't be shocked. We don't have the Zim Reapers. We're not going to hold this team to 17 points. They're going to give up points today. They're going to give up yards, and it's going to be frustrating. The key is offensively, be more consistent. The one thing that drives me crazy about the Vikings, and again, this is not to go down the whole Kirk Cousins road, but it's a proven fact that Kirk Cousins has, in the entire 5 years he's been here, not just this year and not just under Zimmer, that he has been the quarterback of an offense that has always been at the high end of going 3 and out, which is part of the reason why, on aggregate, his statistics at the end of the year and the Vikings' rankings as an offense at the end of the year will still be pretty high, but that they can still be in closer games because, yes, you can have 4 or 5 drives where you go up and down the field and run up points, and then you can have 6 or 7 drives where not only you're not scoring, but by going 3 and out or maybe getting 1 first down and punting, you're putting your defense back out there. What I want to see from the offense and what it's going to take for this team to go to the next level, to not just be a very good regular season team that caught a lot of breaks and took full advantage of those breaks, is to be able on offense to have some consistent time-consuming drives, particularly against this Detroit Lions team. You keep your offense out on the field, you win the time of possession battle. That not only puts points on the board for you, but it also takes away from the Lions' opportunity to score against your defense as well. What I want to see offensively is have some consistency. Even if you have an 8-play drive that ends up, you got stopped at 3rd and goal from the 3 and decide to kick a field goal, whatever the case may be, but have some consistent drives where you're giving your defense an opportunity to rest and you're keeping the ball out of the Detroit Lions' hands. But I see this to be a high-scoring game. Let's not pretend that Detroit's not going to score some points today, because they are.
Yeah, one of the things that I think everybody that I've talked to or been associated with going in the last game would have had us scoring less points than we did. It just so happens that the 3 and outs came in like back to back to back drives the first half or the first part of the second half. And I think when you have that long sustain of ineffectiveness, it does affect you more than if you mixed it up a little bit. But we did have 3 pretty long drives and 3 touchdowns. 3 for 3 in the red zone. So hopefully let's go 4 for 4 in the red zone. Let's go 5 for 5 in the red zone. Let's get a few more of those red zone opportunities. I think is what you're saying. Rap here is arguing with himself. So I just thought I'd put that up, and
there's a new one.
And so I think Justin just gave you your satisfaction in talking about Kirk Cousins. So we'll move on to Mike again. Hey, Mike, I think I told Justin to bring you on sometime. So yeah, we'll get you on.
No, we'll definitely got to do that.
Yeah, we'll get you on, Mike. Definitely, for sure, and we'll bring Canada into the play. You can tell us all about Canadian football, along with American football. I don't know if if you watch it over there, the Grey Cup, but what do we got here? Do you think Bradbury out will be an issue? Well, I kind of followed it back in the day when it was you could see it on ESPN every once in a while. And then was it Flutie was awesome there. Do you think a Bradbury out will issue on timing? Gosh, I didn't know for sure if he was out or not. I was out this morning.
Is that official, by the way?
I'm not sure. I mean, I'm looking at I had the Bradbury limited practice is questionable currently, but that doesn't mean they didn't change it because they still have Darrisaw. Well, I mean, they had Darrisaw, and I have this. Let me just pull it up here, Banner. So I said Josh Metellus and Blake Brown need to be big games because they said that Darisaw and Harrison Smith were not starting, but I did not know if that meant they weren't dressing either. Maybe they were going to be on the sidelines as potential backups. But I did not hear about Garrett Bradbury either. I was at my kid's sports this morning. Did you hear, guys in the chat? Can you guys confirm that? Is that a fact there about Bradbury being out? And yes, I would think that'd be an issue because
Well,
when
I
we
would
had our
say
backup
things a little
center
more
came in the
complicated.
last time, we had like a botched snap and a delay of game penalty. So yeah, that could be a big problem, especially the day before the day of a game, finding that news out.
All right, inactives for the Vikings: tackle Christian Darisaw, center Garrett Bradbury.
Oh, so it
Uh,
is inactive for sure.
yeah, and Harrison Smith as well. So, well, that changes it a
So they
little bit.
did make
So,
him. He when they announced it, it didn't say that they were inactive. It said they weren't starting. I figured they'd be inactive because that wouldn't make any sense if they don't want him to play. Don't play him. But Bradbury being out, I think that could be a big deal. But I do have faith in our backup that in preseason he showed to be very good in the run game. Uh,
mhm.
I don't think he was a detriment in the pass game. I worry about the timing on snaps, the snap count, the exchange of the ball. Because he did have when he came in that game, it did cause us a little bit of a problem when he did play.
Yeah, I'll say this for everything that we wanted to say about Garrett Bradbury and how much we laughed at Kevin O'Connell when he first gets here and after a couple in the training camp were of the, oh, we actually like what we see out of this guy. And we all thought, okay, yeah, that's some coach speak right there. And that's some, you're trying to, pick your own player up. Garrett Bradbury, for the most part, has played reasonably well. Getting back to a point that you had made, what does Kirk Cousins need? Does he need to have a spectacular offensive line or can he get away with just average? All we've ever been asking Garrett Bradbury to be is to just be average because the rest of it can take care of itself. But it's amazing how when you have something that you're just hoping to be average and all of a sudden you take that out, oh, great. We're losing Garrett. Did you ever think that there'd be a point in time where we'd be asking ourselves, what are we going to do if Garrett Bradbury doesn't play? Well, he isn't playing today. So you got your starting left tackle and your starting center out. Does that change my outcome of this game? It shouldn't, because
I don't
again,
think so. Yeah.
this Detroit Lions defense, even without our starting center and without our starting left tackle, we've been dealing without our left tackle long enough to be able to know how to handle it. This does change my output to the point where what I said, you need to keep playing your own game and mixing in the tight ends and running backs. I think now that CJ Ham needs to be on the field a little bit more as the Cousins' personal protector, where he's sitting back there to maybe plug some holes if you get some rush up the middle. As far as timing goes, I don't think it's going to be that much to worry about. You're going to have those timing issues because you're playing on the road anyway in a stadium like that. So it's a good question. It's a very good point. And I'm not going to say that it has no bearing whatsoever, but it's one of those where they've probably been preparing for this. I would have to think that this isn't something that just came up. So I think they're going to be okay from that perspective.
Yeah, we don't get to see what's been happening practice to practice, and I think your dad says we're going to win by 7. That's awesome. Dave, what's your score
I'll take the
prediction?
W where you get it. Mine again was 38-28, but
wow.
I'm going to say it like this. I'm going to take 2 because as I put on Rap's page 2 for his lottery deal. But
Yeah, I put mine.
I don't care anymore about blowing a team out. I don't care anymore. I just care about wins at this particular point in time.
Yeah.
Okay. It's as simple as that. Just get the W's and be done with it. That's me.
Apparently, he's upset. I think he's mocking me. I just don't know.
Who's mocking
what's
you?
this? He gets the blame. He gets no blame this game. Rap had went on yesterday. And he went on yesterday, the Purple Code, and says that he is going to be on him like glue. That every mistake he's going to be tweeting his ass off, or texting his ass off, blaming Kirk for every little mishap that happens in this game. He's not going to, like the first sign of it, he's going to start going off on him, because this has got to be Kirk domination day or something like that, or he won't have anything of it. Everything's going to be bad. So yes, he's really going to be looking at Kirk Cousins today.
Well, that's your guy.
I couldn't live like that, man. I'm sorry. I couldn't just sit here, oh my God, you took 2 steps, you should have took 3. I'm like, I just don't know about that. But hey, we do have a CFL expert in the purple code, so there we go. Let's see what else. Facts, purple. I'm on him. Must win. Oh yeah, he did claim that this is a must-win game for us, even though
that part I agree with.
It's a must-win.
Yes.
All right. Yeah. Explain, because it was, I think, a while back we had an AFC game against the Patriots about on a short week, and that was a must-win game, even though it had no playoff implications. And this one, I mean, we win the division. We clinch a seat in the playoffs with this game, but it's a must-win when we got 5 shots at it.
Okay. Must win isn't necessarily in the context of if you lose this game, your season is over. Obviously, all playoff games.
Oh, so there's a new category for this. Is a different category for must win. Go tell me about this category.
It's the category of must win from the perspective of if you want to put yourself in the best position to go as far as you want to go. If we want to come up with a different definition or a different classification of very important win, then fine, call it a very important win. Is it an absolute must win in the strictest sense of the definition? No, it is not. But where I'm going with this is this. Last week before the Jets game, I said of the 6 remaining games, this Jets game is probably going to be the most difficult because they are the best team left. Same thing applies this week. Of the 5 games left, I think this is the toughest one. Not because you're going up against the team that is chasing you, but realistically, I think going on the road today is a bigger challenge to win a game than it would be at home in the next 2 weeks against the Colts or the Giants. And I do think going on the road against Detroit would be a more difficult game than going on the road against the Packers, who will long be dreaming about being on the golf course. And same thing with the Chicago Bears. Yes, we do traditionally struggle in Chicago, particularly later in the year. And it's weather games, who knows? But you've even made the case that, obviously if we've got nothing to play for, maybe we take our starters out in the middle of the Packer game. Maybe we completely bench our starters for the Bears game. So I'm saying from a meaningful game standpoint, you almost have to take Chicago and Green Bay. Those games, they'll be meaningful us as fans because we always want to beat the Packers and the Bears. But from actually preparing ourselves for going on a playoff run, stacking up against teams that present challenges to us, yes, I think this is the biggest challenge remaining. And so I call it a very important, not quite must win, but pseudo must win, because I want to see how we do in these challenging situations. This game is more challenging than the next 2 at home. And then the 2 after that on the road aren't going to be as meaningful because they are who they are and who are playing them. And at that point, things might already be decided. So that's my long-winded way of saying.
Well, in my viewpoint is we're lowering the bar for must-win games if this is the case, because that's just my viewpoint of like the Patriots game. That was must-win apparently, and then this one, both have very little at the point in the season had very little to do with how we were going to be seated, how are we going to make whether or not we're going to make the playoffs, whether or not we're going to win the division. I think we're almost lowering we have such high expectations that we're lowering the bar for must wins. I agree. I mean, I completely agree that this would be, not good if we lost this game. Like it might set our confidence back. I think it's more of a fan thing because I know as a fan, I mean, God, we just lost to the Lions. But as a team thing, NFL players in every game, you heard after the last win, players were going, we won. That we won. So I don't care how we won. We won. And I know when I played football, it was like I didn't give a crap that we beat that team we should have beat by 3 scores by 7 and we advanced by a last minute touchdown. I didn't care. We won. We walked out the field. We were victory. Our coaches didn't bitch at us for winning for too little, right? It's just that did not happen. And I don't think that happens in this locker room. But I do agree to the extent that, hey, this is, this would be a confidence booster because it'd be a road win in the conference and there was something riding on it. It was like we could stamp our ticket right now. They got T-shirts and hats and champagne bottles, beer probably in the locker room. If we're, and they're either going to pull it out or keep it in at this game. So it would be nice. In fact, it would almost be a big confidence boost for the fact that we would do it on the road too. Home's
Right.
nice, but on the road, beating has that extra feel about it. We did it in their house, and so I mean, I'll agree with you on an extent. I wouldn't go as far as calling them must-win games. I just think that every game is important, but this one and the Thanksgiving game had a little extra importance on it. I had agreed with you on that, but yeah, I don't want to lower the bar for must-win games because there are going to be must-win games in future seasons, and there was last year, and that was the Lions game last year. That was a must-win game that had the playoffs riding on it, and we blew it
Right.
on the last play of the game. And I don't want that. I don't want it to happen in the. I don't want that to happen in the playoffs. We're making the playoffs. We're gonna win one game the rest of the year. We're gonna make the playoffs. We might even keep the 2 seed if we're only winning 10 games.
That was where I was going to go back at you with it. When you say that the game last year, the playoffs were riding on them. All of these games that you mentioned, the 2 seed is riding on all of those games, including today. But we can circle back to seeding and all that other good stuff.
I mean, we're still, I don't know, 3 games up on the next team that could possibly win the 2 seed. Who's 7 wins?
I'll pull up the standings here, but it will be the winner of the NFC West.
I think the 49ers have 8 wins, so we're 2 games up on the 49ers, right? Or they have no, they don't have 8 wins. Next team's got 7 wins.
Right,
next team's got 7 wins, right? Like 7 or 8.
Come on, computer. Well, my computer's going a little slow because I optimized this not to get choppy. We had a moment ago earlier on where I was freezing up, so my ESPN.com.
Rap, you're arguing with no. I mean, you're literally arguing with yourself. Facts. Okay. Yes. All right. Yeah, we talked about that, Josh. That we need to get after, make him uncomfortable, make him make bad decisions. Our defensive backs have been having to cover for too long.
Mm-hmm.
That is for sure.
Because they haven't had any pressure. Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, San Francisco's got 8 wins, so they are 2 back, and they're playing the Bucks, and then they're playing the Seahawks. So yeah, you lose this game, and
I just don't know where you're getting this, Rap. I really don't know where you're getting this from me. It can be I don't know. It's not a must-win game.
Okay, he's just messing with you right now. He's messing with you. Dave. You got to know that.
This is the most he's ever talked to. I really think he's hoping he loses so he has more to talk about Kirk Cousins. I mean, he literally called it last night. But what was the next team? Was it 7 wins?
The next team is San Francisco with 8, and then after that you've got Tampa Bay
8 wins. They lost their quarterback. We're 2 games up on San Fran. And we probably have the tiebreaker.
San Fran short just because
we probably have we probably have the tiebreaker. So this being a must-win game, it's not. But this being a meaningful game, like Rap said a few comments aboard, he's like a Gatling gun here with comments now. Let me try to keep up. Yeah, no. All right. Yeah, every game is a must-win game for the players. Yes, I played. You played. We all had must-win games. We say all you don't think it must-win. Yeah, every game's a must-win now. Rap. Got it. Let's go. Yeah, winning the 2. Well, we're gonna win the 2.
Back and focus.
All right, I'm arguing with you, Dave. Yeah, I know. Well, apparently, I'm gonna leave this. Kirk throws 4 TDs today. I appreciate the confidence.
Mike said that Monday. He's all on board the Kirk Cousins training. He has some points where, again, Cousins is from that area. He's going to want to show out. And this would be the first time that the Vikings won a division since Kirk Cousins got here. And if they win this game, Kirk is getting those changed before he even has a chance to sit down on that airplane today. He might say that I'm putting the Kirk change bit to bed. That Kirk change bit's coming back today if they win this game. But I think the other thing too is
I'm gonna highlight some some positive comments too. We got Mr. Negative on the chat, so I'm gonna do some positive comments. Crown Jews, thanks for joining us. Let's go get the dub, fellas. Let's go fire. Let's go. I appreciate it, man. Let me just do this and let you continue. I think a more meaningful game now because the Lions are a different team than they were 5-6 weeks ago. Yes, it's a meaningful game, but it will not cost us the playoffs. Won't cost us a seed. It is a meaningful game because definitely a confidence builder on the road, and it will get that albatross hanging off our head of when are we going to close it out. Mm-hmm. Kirk owns the Lions. Look it up. I agree. He he won that first game with us. We were winning with him on the sidelines when we lost that last game. So I mean, he has played well against the Lions. 21 TDs to 2 interceptions against Detroit in his career. Well, that's not bad. Thanks for bringing up the stats. New a dating online. Girls. I don't know how to get rid of that one, but let me try.
Hit the block button. That's how you get
block
rid of that.
user. There it is. All right.
Yeah.
I just put that up. But yeah, it's an important game. But I cut you off there, Justin. Go ahead and finish your thoughts.
I was just saying it's also a pride thing. When you have the opportunity to put the last nail in the coffin, you want to just take advantage of it. You don't want to let this team think that they have any opportunities whatsoever. And frankly, you don't want to lose to the Detroit Lions, regardless of the fun that Rap wants to have with us. When myself and Mike said, hey, they're not a pushover anymore. There's going to be a team that I predicted that they would get between 7 and 9 wins, and they only need 2 more victories to get to that. A 7 to 9 win Lions team is not the same doormat 3-13 team that they have been for a very, very long time. So to me, you never want to lose to the Lions. It's not as bad as losing to the Packers or the Bears or the Cowboys, but there's also an embarrassment factor. You do not want to lose to the Detroit Lions, particularly when you know you've got a game in 6 weeks. It's not like you got a game 6 weeks, 6 days. It's not like you're playing the Thursday turnaround, but you are going to be going into a short week next week. So you want to just put your boot on the throat of these guys and be done with it. You want to be the first team that can say, hey, we've clinched our playoff spot. And we're coming for you. We're not just some cute team that, just gets lucky all the time. So that's where I'm at with it. Okay, we'll take away must win. We'll take that phrase off the table. But for right now, anyway, like I said, as we just got a couple of minutes till kickoff here, so I know we're going to wrap this here pretty quick.
According to Rap, every game is a must win now. So I guess we're going to do must win YouTube videos here now. Let me do a quick. We're partnered with Fanatics. Make sure you go to the description below. If you're going to buy a Vikings hat, go do it at Fanatics for me. All you have to do is copy and paste one of the links I have in my description below, and it'll help out the channel. And make sure afterwards you go, if you're subscribed, go click like and comment to the video, not in the chat here. Like and comment after the video is done, and you'll be entered to win. We're giving away that autographed jersey January 3rd. And I would like to finish with this is a slideshow I was doing with Micro Mike last night. The Metrodome, a little trip down memory lane here. You got the Silver Dome and the Metrodome. He says the Silver Dome was better because ours fell down. So and he may be right with that. I don't know.
Well, but
there's definitely more history. This is a fun fact. So the longest play ever Metrodome, longest kick return. So longest kick return, there was the longest missed field goal. We caught it. I think he caught it at the 109, the back of the end zone.
Yeah,
109 yards. Ran it in.
If I recall correctly.
90. Yeah, Cromartie. And 199 yard touchdown pass happened with the Vikings, and the 99 yard touchdown run by Dorsett happened in that dome. So the 4 of the longest plays in NFL history happened in this. 2 against us, 2 for us. So there's a lot of history there.
I will say this about the Metrodome, and I know this is the Vikings pregame show, but for those of us that are involved with all of Minnesota sports, the Metrodome was an absolute dump, but it was our dump because we got to see 2 Twin World Series championships, both in Game 7s, one in that stadium. The Metrodome, it's one of those deals where, hey, yeah, we're not going to pretend that it was the Taj Mahal, but it was the home to 2 Minnesota sports championships and all of those NFL record-breaking plays that you just went through there. So, what happened in the Pontiac Silverdome? Oh yeah, Jerome Bettis got his Super Bowl there in one of the ugliest and boringest Super Bowls between the Steelers and the Seattle Sea Chickens. Congratulations, we're happy for you.
So, who did it better, Kirko Chains or Kid Kirko?
Oh, it's got to be the kid. It's got to be the kid. The kid. Okay, let's call it for what it is. Kirko changed. Kirk did not want that. That was his teammates saying, "We don't care. You're our guy. You're the face of our team right now. You're going to wear these chains." That kid wanted to wear those chains. So
Micro Mike created this because he says they have a similar situation over in Lions where there's Jared Goff stands and Jared Goff haters. So he stirred the pot by creating a Jesus Goff. And I said, well, who's better, Kirko change? And he went with Kirko. So, but they're these two guys, big time playmakers. We only got a minute left. In fact, it is 1 o'clock, 12 o'clock Central. We'll run through this. This is our draft classes. Ed Ingram in the MASH unit. Let's just cut that out. This is thanks for joining us. This
Absolutely.
is Skull World Live, brought to you by Minnesota Sports Talk. It's Justin and Dave. Check us out every Tuesday, and sometimes on pregame. So hey, thanks for joining us. Skull Vikings, we out.
Skull.